That's a point that, I definitely think is very important. People need to question everyone, not just, their opposing side.
I mean, I have another example. We frequently get email from people who, for some reason, think that we missed seeing the movie Zeitgeist. Okay?
To put it mildly.
And, have you ever heard of this? And are you part of the movement? Well, yes, we've heard of it. No, we're not part of the movement. And I had an email exchange with one of these guys who said, but Peter Joseph is an atheist. And I'm like, so fucking what?
Yeah.
So, I mean, because someone is an atheist doesn't mean I have to agree with everything they say.
Oh,
and I guess, that's the whole point. It's like, I guess if we're about anything up here, aside from giving a perspective of people who don't believe in any gods, it's that, you really need to engage in some critical thinking and don't accept claims at face value. If someone just makes an assertion, ask them to back it up. If someone makes a positive assertion, they have the burden of proof.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I just sort of feel sort of ashamed sometimes at what I see them doing and saying.
Well, I've got good news for you. You don't have to feel ashamed because they don't represent you, and neither does anyone else.
Right. That just sort of goes back to what I was originally saying, is that there are certain things that I sort of like to associate with atheism, but, that don't always hold up.
Well, yeah, I would like to believe that atheists are, rational thinkers, critical thinkers, that, they're always going to research their claims carefully and not make, gross errors in judgment. But that's just not the case.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Sure.
Okay. Well, thank you for a very nice call.
Yep. Love the show. Okay,
right. Bye. All right. We're only getting one line at a time now.
I know. Well, actually, I have something I wanted to contribute because it happened 2 weeks ago at our rally at the state capitol. For those of you who don't know, we got an email about this. A guy saying, hey, did you know there's a rally at the state capitol on Sunday the 16th? It's like, yeah, the ACA actually co-sponsored that rally. But anyway, in the course of that rally, it was right after we started the rally, so shortly after 11 a.m., a group of middle schoolers came up to the steps of the state capitol, heading in to visit the capitol. And I was out there passing out American flags. And so I grabbed a handful of them and ran over there to hand out American flags to any of the middle schoolers who wanted them. As I approached the group and I offered them American flags, one of the teachers came up and said, no, we're not part of this group. And I said, well, it's just an American flag. If you want one, you can have it. And they said, no, we're just here to see the Capitol. And at that point, I realized that they had seen the sign on the canopy up there that said American Atheists. And they realized it was an atheist group up there doing this, and they were freaking out over this. And so I'm like, okay. And so they started to walk away, and one of the kids in the group said, well, what are they here protesting? And another kid said, oh, they don't want us to say the Pledge of Allegiance in school. And
that's
I turned around.
We only have one issue we care about.
Yeah. And I said, no, that's not it. I said, we don't want Thomas Jefferson taken out of the world history standards, for one thing. And one of the teachers turned around and just kind of ran over there and said, don't you dare talk to the students. This is not your place. I'm like, excuse me, it's absolutely my place. Not only am I a taxpayer, I'm paying for this miseducation of these students. This is the public square. I can say anything I want to. Welcome to America. So I guess my point on this is that here we have a group of students who came upon a protest conducted by a group of people that they may or may not agree with. And we've got a group of teachers shepherding these students through this group. What a fabulous opportunity to explain the American system of government to these students and how if you disagree with your government, you have a right to go into the public square and protest that.
What is that, some kind of commie talk?
I know. And so, but they passed up this opportunity. Instead, they decided to censor what their children would hear and quickly, you know, shepherd them into the state capitol to get them away from the evil atheists who they might not agree with. So anyway, just goes to show there was an example of what we don't want to happen in our curriculum, where we have a group of people who wall off the students from ideas that they may not agree with.
Now, I would like to bring up something about those textbook hearings, which is that, as I understand it, the end result of all that hullabaloo was that basically all of the changes to the education curriculum passed, except for the taking out Thomas Jefferson. Which makes me, I mean, on the one hand, I'm glad that Thomas Jefferson will retain his rightful place among, you know, influential founding fathers.
Rush Limbaugh and the Contract on America.
Right, sure. But on the other hand, I'm a little worried that maybe we focused too much on that one single aspect of the changes and then made it easy for them to slip the rest past.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, and that could be, my personal feeling on that is that the other changes were probably inevitable, and they probably still would have removed Thomas Jefferson if we hadn't brought so much attention to that issue. So I don't know. I think with their supermajority, they were going to get their way.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go ahead and pick up Ace in New York, New York.
Okay.
Are you there?
Yeah, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
All right. I've been an atheist for probably about 5 years now. After I was a devout, well, I wouldn't say I was a devout Christian, but I've probably, you know, been through a couple of religions because living in the black community, which I've heard the show before, and this lady, this woman called in, and basically she happened to mention that why are so many black people so, you know, religious? And she's absolutely right. I never heard of an atheist. Like, I've heard of atheism, but it was so like, oh my God, taboo type thing.
Yeah.
I really never questioned that there was not a God. But growing up, you know what I'm saying, in this environment, you know, I never really also, you know, I never read anything. I never saw, you know, any, nobody ever talked to me about Richard Dawkins or anything. You know, I went to school, I learned what they taught it, but it wasn't, I never learned any of this stuff until I started, you know, going to the internet and talking to a lot of other people, and I'm always very open-minded. I get a lot of information from everything, because if I believe in something, I want to know if I'm right or wrong about it. I want to know, you know, what makes this, you know, world tick, or universe. And if I'm dead wrong, I want it to be proven to me. Anyway, to get to the point of what I'm trying to say, what I argue, of course, you know, living here with in debate with a lot of creation. I was talking to another guy who believes in astrology. I mean, really, really believes in it. But what's the best argument, you know, for a believer?
Well, it depends on the argument they're making. And I think that's where you have to get them to actually specify exactly what their claim is. Because it's hard to argue against something unless they've been very specific about it. You know, if you allow them to be vague, they'll throw something out there and maybe it's not exactly defined very well, and so you start to refute it, and then they come back with, oh, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this, and so then the claim shifts.
Right.
So I think that one of the best techniques is to get them to be very specific about what it is they're claiming, and then don't let them do what's called a gish gallop on you, where they start jumping from topic to topic to topic. You know, one of the things that we ask frequently is, give me your best argument.
Okay.
Right. Matt apparently doesn't like that one, from what I heard
Oh,
last
really?
week.